We're taking a deep dive into Arthur Miller's All My Sons.
Specifically, Act 3.
Yeah, Act 3, the climax.
Yeah.
The truth comes out. Everything comes to a head.
We've got a family on the verge, secrets bubbling under the surface.
A night that changes everything for the Keller family.
It's really interesting how Miller sets the scene for this final act, though.
Oh, yeah?
It's the middle of the night,
Okay.
mirroring the darkness that's about to come crashing down around them.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, so before we get to the fireworks, let's set the stage for anyone who might not have seen the play recently. Post-war America.
Post-war America, yeah.
The Keller family, they're dealing with the loss of their son, Larry.
A pilot, right.
A pilot, yeah, who went missing in action during the war.
Right.
And his father, Joe, he was a successful businessman
Successful.
who made airplane parts during the war.
Manufactured them, yeah.
And then there's Chris, the other son. He's back from the war.
Back from the war, but
And in love with his brother's former fiancée, Anne.
complicated.
Definitely complicated. And at the heart of it all is Kate, the mother.
The mother, right.
She's clinging to this hope that Larry might still be alive.
Oh,
A hope that's blinding her to the truth.
to the truth of what happened. And it's more than just grief she's grappling with.
Oh, absolutely.
Remember that bombshell in Act 2? Joe was convicted of selling faulty airplane parts during the war,
Right, those parts led to the deaths of pilots.
possibly including his own son.
Exactly.
And that's the core of this whole thing, isn't it?
It is.
This conflict between what you owe yourself, what you owe your family.
Individual responsibility versus family loyalty.
Exactly, exactly. Joe's thinking he did what he had to do, protect his family, make sure they survived.
Yeah, but then there's Chris, who's got this completely different perspective.
He does.
Idealistic. Believes in accountability.
Responsibility.
Not just to family, to society.
Everyone.
Which brings us back to Act 3.
Because that's where these two worldviews collide.
Head on. Act 3 starts. And man, the atmosphere is thick. You can just feel the tension.
You said it.
Jim, family friend, is trying to get Kate to see, to really see the situation.
To wake up.
Yeah. He tells her he's known all along about Joe, about his conviction.
He knew.
He knew, but that's not all he says. He also seems to think Chris will be back,
Oh, interesting.
that he can't stay away, even after everything.
See, I think that speaks volumes. About Chris, I mean.
Oh, so?
This need to face it all head on. He can't just bury it. Not like Joe and Kate.
No, he can't. That's
Yeah.
like this weight on him. Justice. Righting the wrongs.
Yeah.
And then we get this powerful scene, Kate confronting Joe.
Oh, man.
She's always been his protector.
Always.
But now,
Yeah.
she's wavering. You can just feel it.
It's a turning point for her, for sure.
Totally.
She even says to him, she says, the heart of a mother. It's like she finally gets it,
Guess what?
That what he did, it wasn't just like breaking the law.
Right.
It was a betrayal of their family,
Wow.
of motherhood itself.
And she tells him to turn himself in.
She does.
But Joe, still so caught up in his own justifications.
I did it for the family, right?
Exactly. Like, he can't or won't
Yeah.
see beyond that.
It's tragic, really, this narrow view. He can't see the bigger picture, the wider consequences.
And just when you think it can't get any more intense, Anne shows up.
With the letter.
With Larry's letter.
We knew it was coming.
Oh, yeah. We've heard about this letter, but now it's front and center.
Chekhov's gun. It's got to go off.
Right. The audience knows. We know what it says. Larry's suicide note. He took his own life after he found out about Joe, about what he did.
And Joe's still clueless.
It's brutal. Knowing what's coming and watching it unfold, like a car crash in slow motion.
Miller's good at that. That dramatic irony. Building the suspense.
Excruciating.
Pure Greek tragedy, right?
Yeah.
You're helpless to stop what's coming. And that letter. It's not just plot, It
And
gives
then-
us Larry.
Oh, I see it.
His struggle with what his dad did. The moral weight of it all.
And then, like he was expected, Chris comes back,
There it is.
ready to face the music. He even apologizes to Anne, for doubting her, for trusting his father.
It's tough to watch. Chris idolized his dad. And now he has to see him. See Joe for who he really is.
Shattering.
Completely?
And their confrontation,
Oh.
explosive. Chris, he's so angry, so disillusioned. He even talks about, almost being able to kill Joe.
And Joe, what does he do?
Offers him money.
Of course he does. Like, it fixes it.
Tells him to throw it away if it's so tainted. He just doesn't get it. The moral outrage. And then Anne, she can't watch Chris suffer anymore.
Oh, shit.
She takes the letter, Larry's letter,
Right.
and reads it out loud for everyone to hear, Talk about a moment of truth, the climax of this whole thing.
It's like a tidal wave hitting Joe.
Right. It all crashes down. And it's not just about the pilots. It's about Larry, about the family, all because of his choices.
It's that moment in Greek tragedy,
What's it called?
anagnorisis, when they finally see, understand what they've done.
But it's too late.
Always too late. The damage is done.
So how does he react?
Well, he does finally decide to take responsibility.
He's going to turn himself in.
Yeah.
It's almost like, I don't know, a relief.
Yeah.
Finally. But then
It's a gunshot.
off stage, he takes his own life. Like that. It's like, what? And then it leaves you with all these questions.
Definitely. Was it cowardice? Trying to escape justice? Or, I don't know, maybe sacrifice? Trying to make things right?
It's really up to us to decide, isn't it? The audience. What that final act really means. But Kate and Chris, they're left to pick up the pieces.
And Kate, she just wants Chris to move on. Find some happiness, some peace.
But he can't. He says he sees things differently now. That there's this bigger responsibility, that it's not about him.
And that's it, isn't it? That's how Miller leaves us.
With that thought.
Yeah. It's not enough to move on. Can't forget, Chris's refusal, it's like Miller challenging us.
To do better.
To remember. To learn. And to hold ourselves to a higher standard.
It's heavy stuff, but so good. So we've really dug into this one. A family drama on the surface.
Right.
But it's so much more.
It's about war, the American dream, secrets, lies. It's about what happens when we don't face the truth.
And what happens when we choose to ignore our responsibility to each other.
To everyone.
Exactly. That's Arthur Miller for you, always making you think. So, as we wrap up this deep dive into All My Sons, think about this. What are we responsible for? Not just to ourselves and our families, but to everyone. Something to think about.